The championship comes down to the final 6 races of the season. 2 weeks between them and one champion to be crowned. It is a series of races which has to be at your level best, and you have to go through history to see what makes these championships so good. These histories, though, comes to a track that does not exist anymore. In real life, this is a housing estate, but saved for time in memoriam, Oran Park Raceway. Here with the Global SimRacing Channel and the RTA Virtual Motorsport's GR86 series. It's round 7 of 8 here for you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are around the world. My name is Jake Sperry. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Craig King. Daniel Costello is on the cameras directing, and those cameras are provided by Dougie Beard. But Oran Park, a classic of Australian racing and Australian sim racing now at this point. One of only a handful of figure 8 circuits on the iRacing service. Let's take a look at our GSRC track guide to find the pitfalls around a circuit very difficult to pass at today.
Welcome to Oran Park Raceway. Though the track has been torn down and no longer exists in the real world, it was once located north of the town of Oran, New South Wales. Thankfully, with iRacing's laser scan, it's saved for sim racing perpetuity, complete with a number of incredibly unique features. The most visibly notable of these is the fact that it was one of the few figure 8 road courses in the world. In fact, 5 of the 6 available layouts feature this crossover bridge, but most of them are decidedly short, with the longest one being a mere 1.6 miles, and the smallest barely over half a mile. You would think that this would relegate the track to simply club racing with smaller, lesser-powered vehicles. But the V8 supercars and open-wheelers with considerable grunt both competed at this place regularly. It must have been like wrangling a bull in a china shop, considering the drastic elevation changes and the wickedly technical layout. Turns 1 and 2 make for a fearsome combination in which drivers are forced to brake and turn from incredibly high speeds into a tight left-hander. And the final chicane features a completely blind rise in the middle of it, making car placement almost a guessing game. The last corner also places a concrete wall all around the outside, giving it a street circuit-like feeling. The number of turns packed into such a small space makes passing difficult for just about any level of vehicle. However, mistakes can be easy to make, and most drivers will be ready to pounce should any opportunity present itself. It may have gone the way of the dodo, but rather than entering some sort of racing afterlife, fans and drivers alike can continue to enjoy this beautiful Australian track here in the virtual world.
So that is Oran Park, or was Oran Park, depending on however your preference takes your fancy. But a circuit that was such a cult classic and still continues to produce the sort of racing here in iRacing that makes you say you're going to have to earn every overtake you make around this place. Craig, I look at this place, I think 2 things. I think Coca-Cola, I think Shell Corner, I think Recaro. They're the only places you're going to get it done today.
They're the only place you're going to get it done, and maybe not Recaro, just due to that dogleg, that little chicane. Even in the GR86s, due to that elevation, they are having to take some speed off going for those corners, and that's the name of the game here. It's the elevation changes. I'm actually seeing in practice cars going 3 wheels with a wheel in the air as they go up the hill to Champion Curb up to that figure of 8. So the name of the game is to survive the back half of this track, to set yourself up for those 2 corners you named, Coca-Cola and Shell, to make any overtake. Anything else, it's way too tight for these cars, even for these drivers, with the driver we've seen this season, to try and think about going side by side.
Well, they've all got to have a thought process in their mind on how they want to go and approach this racing here in Oran, and now go forward with everything they possibly have on the line. There is 6 races left, but this championship is closing up more and more. It is an 8-point lead, though slowly breaking away is Rory O'Shea, 236 points. But watch out for Jordan Kelly. His pace has been lightning in third, 28 points adrift, doesn't have drop rounds in the back pocket. So everything for Jordan Kelly has been simply fantastic so far this season. Sean McGoldrick sits in fourth with Evan Walsh fifth. John McDonald and Ian May is in seventh place. And it's close, actually, in and around that top 10. Dylan McClements, Adam Dowling, and Robert Moore. No Robert Moore here today. That does make up the top 10 as they look in the drivers' standings. But it's all about focus with that group and how they want to go about getting all those points together. They know how amazing it's going to be, and how they race today, Craig, is going to be important. The 3 races, which will have a slight tweak for next season, but for this season, brilliant.
Yeah, this is a brilliant format. If you've not seen it all season, we have qualifying on right now. It sets the grid for the first race, the 15-minute sprint. That's going to set the grid for the super sprint, 10 minutes. And that is going to be very chaotic as people will try to find the best places they can. And then we reverse that top 8 and we get ready for the 20-minute feature race of the night. And that's where it could play out very well, is usually the drivers win race 1 and race 2. They won't win race 3. We did see a change to that last week as Jordan Kelly competed the three-peat.
He did the three-peat, and he did so fantastically. And a lot of that, you would feel, comes down to the fact that the grid is not as large as it could have been. Another smaller grid tonight means that he'll have less issues behind him to worry about as he looks to break forward through this. Look at the sprawl of tarmac here. They've got the old karting course down there on the south side of the circuit, or the north side of the circuit, I should say, heading over towards the south side of the circuit, up and over the Yokohama Bridge. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in qualifying, and as aforementioned, it is Jordan Kelly who is on top with a 1:14.565, nearly a tenth, or in fact exactly a tenth and 2/3 clear at this point. That's the dogleg they have to traverse through, and then uphill braking zone into Recaro corner. Very unique style corner, this one.
Yeah, you can just see as well. You can see that tyre starting to lift a little bit there. He comes across the line. It is the fastest lap, and he's now improved by 4 tenths over Sean McGoldrick. He's going to have to do some work. He's only got 2 minutes left, and the key thing here is once it's 0, you don't finish your lap time. That's game over. So 1 lap left for some of these drivers.
Yes, and that's because of the session type that they have, and Mr. Sparkle, Sean McGoldrick, is going to have to find a lot of pace here. Jordan Kelly is threatening to break away with all 3 races here tonight once more. But look at how he's having to fight through the opening corners. This is not an easy circuit to get it correct. There's no wind, which will be very useful for them here today. But that track, okay, slightly cooler for Australian temperatures as McGoldrick pulls to the side, but it's still 41 degrees track temperature. It's still hot. There's still going to be understeer aplenty.
Still going to be lots of understeer here, and they're going to have to try and be smooth with the inputs today. That will try and help them with the tyres, but also with that traction control and ABS that will want to kick in. Rory O'Shea coming across the line. He's going to have no time for another lap. He does not improve either. He will start on the third position so far. Peter McCann comes across. Interesting fact, Jake, this, when it was first made, was a dirt track sealed in oil. Kind of different nowadays.
It is. You had you had yourself the CC Tires corner, Craven A. Robin Orlando was basically the corner that effectively now, as it's known on the circuit layout, is Momo corner. And then you still had a dogleg, not as aggressive before heading through the final section of track. That all changed, though, in 1964 when that got itself a more, I would say, improved corner known as Energol corner. And then the full circuit in 1974, as we know it, came into play, and all sorts of understandings about what made this track so good, the small layouts that were added on, and more abilities to go out and race before its final racing year in 2010. Just the 5 seconds remaining then in the clock. Tony Stack, I don't think is going to make it round the corner as we drift out of focus and in towards the qualifying results then from this at the Oran Park Raceway. Jordan Kelly with a mega pole position time, a 1:14.266, has Sean McGoldrick alongside for company. Rory O'Shea and Dylan McClements house row 2, with John McDonald and Ian May 5th and 6th. Sean Hegarty and Peter McCann house 7th and 8th, with Adam Dowling 9th and Lawrence de Sosua rounding out the top 10. The final 3 cars on the grid will jump over Wingfei Chan Wingfei, the way it should be said, and then Gary Corcoran and Tony Stack. Your 13 here. Unlucky for some, somebody is going to have an unlucky night tonight here in the RTA Virtual Motorsport GR86 series. The one driver we wait for at 104 Fahrenheit, 40 degrees track temperatures is now on the grid. That is Sean Hegarty. Let's get the engine notes rising. Let's get ourselves ready for action. 3 races, 15 minutes to start, and we're underway here from Oran Park. It's a good start from the second row of the grid then by Rory O'Shea. Straight over to the inside to cover goes Jordan Kelly. He's looking for nothing to go wrong through both the first 2 corners here, heading over towards Coca-Cola curb. But the big send from Sean McGoldrick, a thought process that is there, but it's skittles in the background. It's a bowling alley. John McDonald does a full pirouette. It looks also like de Sosua and Corcoran are caught up in it, as well as Peter McCann.
Yeah, it was 2 incidents in one go there. Corcoran got on the grass as he went to go braking, and in front of him was John McDonald as well. This helps out one man though, Sean Hegarty. He lost 6 positions on the start there on the launch. He's now only lost 2 after that incident.
He has, and drifting again out of focus then as McGoldrick rushes through there, that section of road. A very aggressive lap 1, not what the doctor ordered at all. Through the Momo corner and back up the right. You can see here McGoldrick's really pushing to try and stay in, but in the immediacy they've already lost 1.3 seconds in this race as that gets close from McGoldrick up at the Recaro corner. It's very easy to outbrake yourself, find yourself in troubles, and there is troubles down at the final corner because it looks like Tony Stack and Lawrence de Sosua have got into it here.
Yeah, Stack and de Sosua, they've had a moment out there together. We're going to have a quick replay of what happened very shortly, and we're just going to have to see as they come around that final corner. It's going to be very tight, and here's the start here. Look at that, 2 incidents there. It looked like McDonald was slowing down for traffic, and then Corcoran just catching the grass.
Yeah, Corcoran finding himself on the wrong side on the outside. And I tell you what, it's very interesting with what happened with Chan Wingfei on the opening lap, heading through the dog leg and over towards Recaro corner, because it was getting very congested between them, which caused the secondary accident. But there is Sean McGoldrick up over the hill, searching for everything that's possibly there, with Rory O'Shea in second, Jordan Kelly your race leader as it stands at the moment, but they are trying to hold themselves accountable at this stage, really trying to make sure that every single place that they can gather right now is being held in measure. Dylan McClement sat there in 4th position, is just waiting for the time to shine, waiting for that opportunity to jump against those top 3. But I think Dylan's going to have to play a waiting game and close down that margin.
Yeah, he's doing his best to try and close that margin. Well, up ahead, O'Shea and McGoldrick are having their little battle. This helps Jordan Kelly, though. Gap is already 1.7 and increasing. The more O'Shea and McGoldrick fight, the better it is for Dylan and more better for Jordan Kelly.
And there's Tony Stack coming out of the pits there, and it looks like he's been involved in another little something. Then heading through to the opening corner, because he and John McDonald both leaving the pits at the same time. It looked very much like a bit of a hit there for Tony Stack, who was ready to get on the power. John McDonald wasn't, as he was waiting for the traffic in the Potato Nation car. They'll go door to door here as they will race it at the champions corner. Neither of them a champion, because here comes Chan Wingfei in the Truno AE86 in the brilliant Tofu inspired drifter.
And he just pays it safe there, decides to slot into behind Tony Stack there. All these guys are still battling for position. They may be a lap down after having to take a turn on a fast repair, but they're still battling for points. And you start to see on the rear of Tony Stack's wing just how close it is. They're going to have one other trouble though, because there'll be cars on the lead lap trying to get past them.
Absolutely will, and that's going to be a balancing act here. A lap down between Stack, Chan Wing-Fei, and John McDonald here. You've got to run in the 90s because that's when this track was available to be run down the hill towards turn number 1. You can see there by the pit gantry there how it really does descend down that hill and into turns 1 and 2, which makes it an even tougher braking zone. McCann will definitely feel like he wants to get through, but as well, he's not really got a race on at this point, so he'll have to wait for these drivers. As again to the outside tries McDonald, it just gets cut off by Chan Wing-Fei. Not much that could be done about that, except having to play that patience card. But you've got to make sure that you are into that position. And Jordan Kelly, well, make his day all right. He's 2.5 to the good.
Yeah, this is exactly what he wanted to see. He did a 14.6, or 1:14.6 to be precise, last lap. So you start to see that means the pressure's back on McGoldrick and O'Shea. They match times, and McClements was a tenth slower last lap. So they're just matching each other. They're in their own little fight at the moment. It almost looks like they're complacent to stay second and third.
I think so. You got McClements there, but they are breaking away from him. 1.2 seconds there over the line. Gets interesting 5th and 6th. That gap's about 7/10 of a second here. That's Ian May currently in 5th. Adam Dowling in 6th position. So they're both going to be in a race too, but you can see that the Mr. Sparkle car under the Yokohama Bridge is thinking about, where do I go and strike? Now, it's a very unique circuit here, Craig, in the sense that once you reach turn 3, you are pretty much turning right up until the end of the Foster's dip and into Momo Corner.
It's so weird to see a track with so many, like balance in terms of number of lefts and rights, but each one has a different characteristic. The right-handers are so tough on the elevation. The left-handers, really, they just set yourself up. This is the definition of a roller coaster track, as we see Hegarty now having his own little battles here with De Sosa, and you can see that go-on Sun is a big issue there. Can he get past De Sosa, who's had some damage?
Yeah, Hegarty's gone off at turn 1. So that's his mistake that he's made. So he just looped the car around. As that happened, Chan Wing-Fei got into the back of Tony Stack, sent him into the barriers. So Stack's had more troubles out there on the circuit and is limping his way back home. But really, Sean Hegarty, the father of Ted Carr, finding out that he's got a very discerning look to those plastered all over that car.
And that's not what he wants to see at the moment. You can see that damage. I believe that damage from De Sosa was from that first lap incident. It's not enough to hinder him, but of course, you've got so long straights here that top speed is going to be a disadvantage. The Hegarty's going to get alongside here, but can't make it on that braking. And because of that, he sets himself up to not be able to make a move into the Coca-Cola corner.
Yeah, turn 2. Turn 1 is very much a transfer out there, which leads into turn number 2. Out there on the track, the sweeper as it is known, and I find it very, very unique in terms of about a 13-year period, Craig, that turn 1 used to be called the Pepsi corner, which leads to the now current Coca-Cola corner.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's a definition of, is Pepsi okay? It's not okay. You know, you get the best of both worlds, though, and that's what Sean McGoldrick's going to be looking for now. He's right on the back of Rory O'Shea. Wouldn't be surprised if he looks for it. Oh, there's O'Shea. There he's back again. I think that may make McGoldrick think second about this. He's going to hold off, but he goes into what used to be Pepsi, into Coca-Cola. I think he's going to have zero chance this time.
Yeah, so if he's going to try and get the best of both worlds, he's going to need a bit of a wrecking ball like he's Miley Cyrus at this point in time. He can ask for as many flowers as he wants afterwards, but that won't matter at this moment. He's thinking about second position and maximum points. O'Shea is doing what he needs to as championship leader. Damage limitation.
Damage limitation is crucial. And of course, one thing we need to remember, drop weeks get counted after this race. And remember, Jordan Kelly doesn't have any drop weeks. He's going to have a big fat 0 next to those drop weeks and the amount of races he's missed. O'Shea, he has drop weeks. That is going to be crucial. He needs to get all the points he can to make sure he can limit the blow that Jordan Kelly will deliver when that drop week gets factored in.
Yeah, so that's going to be a very crucial factor in terms of the championship, how they stack up there. Adam Dowling still giving that chase to Ian May here in 6th and 5th positions out there overall. Everything that Adam Dowling's been trying to do is chase down Ian May, who has driven fantastically this season.
Yeah, May's had a really good renaissance in this season, and he's trying to prove it right now. He's catching slowly to Dylan McClements there in P4, so that gap could be closing. But at the same time, he's bringing Dowling with him. Both of them are having their own little fight, and this is what they expect to be seeing. And what could be crucial, these two could be battling for that pole position in the feature race when it comes to the second race coming up shortly.
Well, there is good news out there over the course of the season for the championship leader, Rory O'Shea. O'Shea's worst racing that he's got out there was a grand total of 16 points out there, compared to Jordan Kelly, who's got that 0 next to his name. He's got 2 zeros, in fact, next to his name. O'Shea's 16 points will still have him the championship lead by 12, but again, he is going to have to dance against someone who put 60 points on the board last time out, and he hemorrhaged 15. He can't afford to do that again, because that would bring the same scenario in. He'd be about 1 point to the good, but it is a scenario where he sits down, okay, he'll be up by 16 points. He knows the second place is worth 18 points in this series right now here, Craig. So if he finishes second to Jordan Kelly between now and the end of this season for 6 straight races, he's got the title unlocked.
And Rory O'Shea is a man of consistency, and we know that even if he doesn't get a race win, he's always on that podium step. So he is a man that knows what he has to do. He's going to play it safe. If he has to go aggressive, you will see him go aggressive. But right now, this is what he is known for. He is just having almost like a Sunday drive out there. He's holding off McGoldrick. McGoldrick's had no chance to get up to him, apart from that moment 3 laps ago. It's all quiet on the O'Shea front.
Yeah, and I tell you what, driving this way, he's been having a Sunday drive for so long that he's made his way to Tuesday. Where are you going over there on that right-hand side?
That's Jordan Kelly.
It's Jordan Kelly. The championship contender is in the grass from nothing.
He overshot it at Momo. I believe that's an overshot there at Momo, or is it the hairpin? We're going to have to see a quick replay of that, but Kelly has gone all the way down the order, and now he's hit the wall.
Just like that, hits the barriers off the exit of the corner. Jordan Kelly is going to be driving angry in that second race, because he knows how important it was to take these points. Rory O'Shea all of a sudden has the race lead, and it is a nothing mistake. It is a nothing mistake. Just grabs gravel, just grabs grass, and you drop down the hill, so your mistake is made even worse when you go that far. I tell you what, Jordan Kelly, that lapse in concentration from a completely winning game state has now got him in all sorts of championship trouble, needing O'Shea to find dramas, probably in race 3.
Can we say it? Can we say championship implications? I think we can. O'Shea's in the prime position now. All he has to do is just stay in any of these 2 positions now. He can let McGoldrick go ahead if he wants to, and it's not going to hinder him with where Jordan Kelly is. Jordan Kelly's only got 2 laps to try and make positions up. In front of him is Ian May and Adam Dowling. He may be able to get that, but what can McGoldrick do with 2 to go?
Oh, it's getting close. It is getting close out there in terms of how they go. It's looking like there's going to be a setup here. McGoldrick realises it. This one is for the race lead. He's on the wrong side of the sweeper to get this done. It's perfect defence right now by Rory O'Shea, but can you find a way around the outside? No. McGoldrick's going to tuck in, look for the shell corner at turn 3. Can he open it up here to go and get this move done? He will once again look and pivot to the inside, but it's not there right now. The champion curve, no, he's got to sit back and wait another lap.
And that's got to be frustrating, because we talked about it, and it is coming to fruition here. You have to wait for those 2 corners, Sweeper and Coca-Cola, if you're going to make an overtake here. McGoldrick's not got it. He might be able to catch up here. He needs to be on that back bumper. And I don't know if you saw what McClements was doing earlier in the race, taking a wider line into Recaro, the final corner. I think Shaw may have to try that to just go for one last lunge.
Have to remember, Sean McGoldrick's drops are a 0 as well. He's only 8 points behind one Mr. Jordan Kelly. So this is opening up an opportunity. McGoldrick is well into this championship fight as well and knows that it's a 4-point swing if the Mr. Sparkle, all nice and clean, can get away around Rory O'Shea as the white flag lap starts. He's not going to be close enough through the sweeper and into turn 2 at Coca-Cola. But can he force a mistake out of him to make that happen? The SRC car is going to now look behind because Sim Race City, baby, is in full flow and there's no night like tonight. Going through the Shell Oil corner and in towards the Champions Curve. Up the hill, they will charge over Yokohama Bridge and over towards the next section of 2 right-handers, over the bridge, heavy over that curve, and into the Foster's Dip then, the next right-hander on this track. Is there anything that Sean McGoldrick can do? Answer to that is going to be no. Jordan Kelly, by the way, is now looking at Adam Dowling. That might be a big point save if he can go through, but through the dogleg, there's one place left to try and throw it if you're Sean McGoldrick. Couldn't get alongside to make the send. Rory O'Shea perseveres, lights flash, victory for the Sim Race City car, and there is no changes of position behind. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Jordan Kelly will kick himself.
He will definitely kick himself. He tried to look for one move at the end there, and Adam Dowling was unable to make it. Just wait for DeSosua and Hegarty to finish up. They were the last cars on the lead lap. We started with 13. 4 of them had to take a tow at the start of the race. 9 cars finish on the lead lap.
9 cars do, and not ideal in terms of what their races were. It was hectic over the opening race. Rory O'Shea, though, picks up the win in 15 minutes and 9 seconds, takes it by 4/10 over Sean McGoldrick, who chased him every stage of the way. Dylan McClements and Ian May are 3rd and 4th. Good drives by the pair of them, with Adam Dowling 5th and Jordan Kelly in 6th position with work to do here in race 2. Peter McCann, who's in the title fight, gets 7th, but his drops will start putting him in a bit of a disposition, with Lawrence De Sosa 8th and Sean Hegarty, the last finisher on the lead lap, in 9th. John McDonald would be your last finisher in 10th place, or first on the lead lap. But then you've got Chan Wing Fei, Tony Stack, and Gary Corcoran, which makes the 13 drivers who were looking for results. We now take a shift over to race 2, and you don't have long to make things happen in this one, Craig. It's the big one, the 10 minutes, and they line up how they finished in race 1.
And you got to keep your eyes on what Jordan Kelly can do in this race. It's going to be very crucial for what he can do. Crucial fact I want to point out here, that's Rory O'Shea's first win in 7 races. He's not had a win in the last 2 race weeks. So that's his first win since the feature 3 races ago.
Well, that's big because he had to rely on a reverse grid to get that done. Green flag in the air. Let's get going. Race 2, and it's a shocker off of the second row of the grid there. That's a massive bit of wheel spin for Ian May. He'll go flying backwards there. It looks like it was a good start for Adam Dowling. He's immediately going to challenge here for 3rd place, but he's not got the angle through the sweeper into Recaro Corner. Jordan Kelly trying to be aggressive then to try and get that place around the outside. He's going to try and take advantage of Adam Dowling. That's not going to happen. At the front is beautifully clear though. Rory O'Shea once again commanding his place, and there goes Kelly straight to the inside of 3.
Kelly's looking for every move he can as we've got some spinners in the backfield, and that is Chan Wing Fei going around, and he manages to put a car straight again, but unfortunately the super sprint strikes again at the back of the field. People jostling for position, but at the front it is all quiet. Let's keep our eyes though on Jordan Kelly, and what can he do against Dylan McClements?
Dylan McClements wants to prove what he's got, and there's the opening then at the inside of the Momo corner, and he's going to almost tag, and he very nearly lost everything there on the outside, being really aggressive. Jordan Kelly did not come to play games. He came to make overtakes, and he makes it look so easy there, getting it done. But the group behind, look at how it checks up. Remember, top 8 invert on the back of that train is John McDonald, on the outside looking in at Sean Hegarty.
He's on the outside looking in, but also Ian May is slowly losing positions. Lost 2 positions on that first lap. Almost lost another with Peter McCann as he goes into the corner. You start to see this gap start to spread. We've got the 2 cars in the front. I reckon the 2 cars in front of this pile, and that's McClements and Kelly, will start to look going forward. But what a move at Momo there for Jordan Kelly.
Yeah, really nice move from Jordan Kelly. He took advantage of the fact that Dylan McClements was being uberly defensive. And when I say uber defensive, I mean defending a corner that he should have known he will learn in the future when he goes racing, as there's side-by-side now for the transfer. A mistake by Hegarty then is going to open up through John McDonald into the 8th place. A move around the Foster's dip where he didn't need to defend the inside there because there was no way that Jordan Kelly's ever going for a move at the Foster's dip.
No, and then at the same time, it's very interesting to see Kelly make such an aggressive move at the corner that it all fell apart for him on the last race. But he managed to make that work, and he managed to get that position, just catching out people there. Now we see De Sosa with Tony Stack. I believe these guys were in that little accident with Chan Wing Fei earlier on, so they're looking for more position. Peter McCann, though, he is still looking for this move on Ian May.
He is still looking for that move. He is still hoping that he's got that move. But at the moment, Adam Dowling's holding station. Ian May is going to have to look behind. Peter McCann's pushing every angle he's got to the fullest of its capabilities. Didn't quite manage to get that one pivoted in for the overtake. But it is so difficult to make passes around this circuit. This has the feeling of a track, Craig, which you feel like is a go-kart track for modern cars.
Really does feel like a go-track car because you are just waiting for that one corner. You can make that overtake, that one moment you can set things up, and the likes of Peter McCann, De Sosa as well, that's what they're doing. They're waiting for that one moment. So when we see that move at Momo we were looking at there with Jordan Kelly, we weren't expecting it. It's one of those moments that you just have to wait for. For these drivers, though, they are looking and waiting, and they have to keep their foot on the floor because it is still a little bit high speed for these Toyotas.
And Jordan Kelly has found the back of Sean McGoldrick and Rory O'Shea. This is a big drive right now from number 2 in this field. The 8 of O'Shea, the 12 of McGoldrick, and Jordan Kelly's 14.4 on that last lap, slashed 0.4 of a second away out of what was needed. And now he will look to try and use all of his pace available to make the overtakes possible that puts him in numero uno coming out of this. If he can do it once, he can do it twice. That's what he's hoping for. He's hoping for a little bit of help, or that from Rory O'Shea there. The technical gremlins, which are not helping, trying to make a move at the front, but up the hill, open it up through the champion's corner. He's driving like a champion, no angle.
How did they not come together there? That was some great moments there to pull out the last second by Jordan Kelly. But you can see what he's doing, and McGoldrick is rattled. A little tap of the grass there. He is now struggling. While that's happening, the rest of the cars behind him, they're having their own little battle. But Kelly now, it's a matter of when, not if, he's going to take P2.
Everybody's in their own pack with their own battle. Big search up the inside. Jordan Kelly takes it away from Sean McGoldrick. That looked like a bit of an outbreak there by Sean, going through the O'Brien aluminium dogleg and almost a shot into the back under brakes there from Jordan Kelly, who was just extra committed. There is the look then as Ian May tries to find top 5'sville. It's not happening for him. Adam Dowling searching for top 4'sville with Dylan McClements trying to hold everybody back. This group right now looks to be the main players of the game for the 20-minute feature when they will reverse.
And last lap, they came down to the sweeper and Coca-Cola 2 by 2. And they almost played pool with one another because McCann almost went into the back of May and he almost went into the back of Dowling. These guys have been battling pretty hard when they start to open up on that straight. This feels like a traditional iRacing race at the moment, Jake. It is waiting for that straight and then use the slipstream to your advantage.
It's the way you get it done here, and that's what they've got, but they can't afford to wait forever. 3 minutes, 53 seconds on the clock, and it will tick down. The John Player special car of Ian May we focus on, really trying to attack the dog leg here. over to Recaro corner, and on the brakes, up the hill for the turn-in. You're fighting against the car's natural ability to steer into that corner because it's uphill as well. It means that the car's wanting to understeer further and further into a commitment corner where there is no margin for error. You hit the embankment on the outside if you get it wrong.
Yeah, I'm not ready for a commitment, and these drivers have to be ready for that commitment. Wide goes Dylan McClements, and a slide by Ian May. Is this going to set anything up now? Adam Dowling will have to take the outside line. Going to be very tough in the shell corner to go on the outside. He's going to do his best, though. He's going to try everything he can. It's not going to work. It's all back to square one, but look at the sliding by Ian May with those hot tyres all of a sudden.
Yeah, and that's going to kick in the traction control system, which will really cost him time.
And that's not what he wants at this moment. He wants to keep up to the back of these two cars. Otherwise, he's going to lose his chance to just sneak a position. But you start to see these drivers are hitting hard. They're going to have 2 laps left after they get past this lap. Into Momo they go, and then to the dogleg. It's looking all of a sudden that McClements is the one that's struggling here rather than Dowling.
Oh, and watch out, race lead. Jordan Kelly is on fire, and he has found Rory O'Shea, and he's given himself 2 laps to make the pass on the SimRace City driver. He's now got to think about, can he do it right now? In through the sweeper, no, not yet. At turn 2, he's going to close right up to the bumper again. No, not yet. How's drive heading towards turn 3? I think Rory O'Shea's got that covered. The next 4 corners are all right-handers.
Yeah, it could be very crucial. Haggerty and McDonald both gone off in the background. We'll look at that later. We've got to keep our eyes on this.
Well, that's
because
big.
Can he do anything here? No. We've got to keep our eyes because Jordan Kelly can find a position from anywhere at the moment. Do not count out any of these corners right now if you're Rory O'Shea.
All of a sudden, that really does spice up the transfer, the issue that's had for Tony Stack and co. Stack now is in 9th place, McDonald still just holding on to 8th. But this for the race lead is where Jordan Kelly has got to make the move. On this straight, heading towards Recaro corner, he's so committed over the curbs. Does he sling to the inside? He gets in the mirror half a car, but he doesn't quite have the angle, and the white flag lap starts.
Does he have the speed after just cooking that a bit more? Don't expect him to make the move at the sweeper. He's going to try and outbrake here at Coca-Cola. This is probably, for most drivers, their last shot to make a move. I don't think it will be here for Jordan Kelly.
Well, he's going to try something, anything, right up underneath. He's almost pushing him through the corner. He's got to find something out there that gives him that result, that puts him back in a great position for this championship. The round where he needed results the most, Rory O'Shea is finding it here at Oran Park. The champion's corner, maximise that exit. Jordan Kelly is waiting on a miracle, on a prayer, on a hope, on a whim, on a strike of lightning to get this move. Foster's dip. Who's going to be drinking deepest through? And a really aggressive tilt through from Jordan Kelly. He is commitment plus 100% to get this done on Rory O'Shea. Sean McGoldrick might just play spoils. He sits in the catbird seat waiting for a chance. They head their way through. Thoughts of a move are just that. They are thoughts, a figment of Kelly's imagination, because at the double is Rory O'Shea. At the double, he finds a run. It's a drag race to the line, but half a tenth of a second, O'Shea is to the good.
And then we go to the back here. Lawrence De Soto went for a late move there through the dogleg to try and get McDonald for that transfer spot. It's a slowdown for De Soto. McDonald is going to take that transfer spot after the shenanigans that happened between him, De Soto, and Stack at the end of a lap to go.
Well, a very, very important race. We didn't get a chance to see what happened to him with a lap to go, but Adam Dowling realizes that he's done okay. Everyone realizes they've done okay. Rory O'Shea is the one who has got the most okay out of the lot. He picks up the win in 10 minutes and 7 seconds, and he did so by half a tenth over Jordan Kelly. Sean McGoldrick was third ahead of Dylan McClements, with Adam Dowling, Ian May, and Peter McCann 6th and 5th, 6th, and 7th. John McDonald with a transfer over the leader of Potato Nation, with Tony Stack and Sean Hegarty there in 10th and 11th. Gary Corcoran and Chan Wing Fei 12th and 13th over to their finishes. So that's how they all played ball in race number 2. We have the ability to start talking to some drivers. Craig, you've taken a wander down what is now a busy road, a commercial road, and you found somewhere on the housing estate one Mr. Rory O'Shea.
Yeah, I found Rory O'Shea. Fun fact is actually the first stands were double-decker buses. So I think I'm on a double-decker bus with Rory O'Shea right now. Rory, I don't think you're expected to get that victory in the first race. That was a little bit of a surprise.
No, not at all. Like, when I saw Jordan on the grass, I thought it was maybe one of his teammates. I couldn't believe it. Like, Jordan usually doesn't make mistakes like that. So, I couldn't believe my luck. And after that, it was just defending from Sean, which was really, really tough. Like, but I managed to get over the line in the end.
Yeah, in both races, you had to fend off McClements, and then you also had to fend off Kelly in the last race. And it's so tough around here to do some defense when especially you've got Jordan, who's going to put his nose anywhere. How is your way of defending around this track? Because the right-handers then coming to the left-handers, it's very tough to do defense here.
Yeah, it can be, but I feel like as long as you really defend the first corner and get a good run at the last corner, there's not much guy behind can do. Like, Jordan, as we saw in the first race, is significantly quicker than me, but he just wasn't able to get past me once he came up behind me in second.
For championship implications, what is your plan to this final race starting at P8?
Just try to pick up points. I think I've said the last 2 weeks that I don't want to get damaged on both times I have, so whatever happens this time.
Whatever happens will happen to Rory O'Shea, winner of race 1 and race 2. He starts at P8 for the feature race, Jake. Do you have Jordan Kelly with you there? Looks like you've got Jordan Kelly in is that a apartment block you got there?
Yes, it's a very nice apartment block, as we got Jordan here with me. Jordan, you come into tonight realizing that you're 16 points back if all things go well and good with the drops. You have a chance to make a run at the championship. It's all plain sailing. You're there through by about 5 seconds. What happens?
I don't know. Probably just a thing where no matter how far I'm ahead, I'm always trying to push every lap. So just didn't ease off once I got the gap, and them things happen, I suppose. But still, I'm not gonna regret what I done. It's just you just gotta learn from it, I suppose. But it wasn't the smartest thing to do, I suppose.
Well, you had to make the most of it to recover in that second race. You got right back up to the rear. But is it a case where if someone knows where they're placing the car around this circuit, it becomes pretty much like quicksand trying and make that overtake? Yeah,
the problem with the track is there's no big long straights into like a heavy braking kind of in a way. So it's just so hard to pass unless somebody actually makes a mistake or you actually like compromise both people's lines in a way. So no, we'll see what we can do in the next race now, and see how far we can get up the grid, and hopefully recover some points from that disaster of a first race.
Do you see this third race then, with how this race meeting has gone so far tonight, as must win?
Not really. I could just get as many points as you can. Don't make any stupid mistakes. It's going to be so hard to just pass around here. It's like Suzuka again. So no, it'll be an interesting one, that's for sure. This reverse grid.
Well, we'll see what the reverse grid does for you then with what's going on. Jordan Kelly there joining us, second position overall in that second race, with a lot to think about as we stare at that Yokohama Performance Tyre Bridge. There's a lot to think about in that championship. The one thing that these drivers were banking on was a little bit of unpredictability. And for Rory O'Shea, he has just been so good tonight, Craig.
He has been so good, and everything has fallen in place for him. Could we talk about the winner of race 1 get race 2 usually? That happened, but he did not expect that. He was just looking to just consolidate some 2 P2s, but he now has 2 wins. that championship, it's oh so close, but it's nowhere far yet.
There's still 4 races of this championship to go. Do not count that out. John McDonald on the pole. Peter McCann alongside Ian May is in 3rd position with Adam Dowling in 4th. Dylan McClements and Sean McGoldrick 5th and 6th. Jordan Kelly and Rory O'Shea, the 2 main players of the game, are 7th and 8th with Lawrence de Sosua and Tony Stack. Just leaves Sean Hegarty, Gary Corcoran and Chan Wing Fei making up the 13 drivers on this grid tonight. It is 20 minutes to figure it all out, and they know that position changing is the name of the game. The weight is going to be on Tony Stack to get himself on the grid, and as he does so, we are ready. Narellan has seen it. The fastest growing suburb in Sydney now finds itself in with a full shout. Green flag in the air. Let's get ourselves underway. Horrible start from Adam Dowling again. He goes miles backwards off of the start, but side by side for the lead it is already, as it's going to be Peter McCann, who remember is in this title fight, looking for it to get it through. McDonald finds himself pretty much on the choke point. We're almost 3 wide into turn 2. McGoldrick has to check up as they go through. McClements around the outside holding on to 3rd, and McGoldrick's got to have to try and cover off this because it's Jordan Kelly on the inside of the Shell's corner. He finds himself way through and trying to get his 2 for 1. He's going to go through. O'Shea gets a buffer as he goes by through, and it is absolutely perfect for Jordan Kelly.
Absolutely perfect, Jordan Kelly. Peter McCann is still saying, I'm in this fight. We had 2 spinners. It was Chan Wing Fei and Ian May at the start of the race, but we don't need to keep focus on them. The focus right now is how many places some of these drivers get. De Sosua now making a move. That's a risky move, and he makes it on Adam Dowling.
If in doubt, Sean will find himself now in the battle too. Lawrence de Sosua with a great pass, but here comes the chance then. Side by side, through the dog leg. That could have been disastrous there, falling back into line. Dylan McClements knows exactly how long his Toyota GR86 is in the DDR car. Does have a big hit against the wall though. That might open it up. Opening it up though for 2nd position. John McDonald now has to fight Jordan Kelly off. A seemingly impossible task for the faithful servant of Potato Nation. Now the inside and a sweeper. Big power move by Kelly.
I'll tell you what, he made him work for it. He made him work for it, and he's got that going. O'Shea now past McClements. But can he hold on to this position? There is an overlap, and McClements says no. You can have it. O'Shea knows what he needs to do. He doesn't need to get this victory. Hang on, De Sosa's going to have a go as well. He's going to slot in as well. All of a sudden, the battling has just come alive. It's almost like the drivers know where the corners are now.
Oh my word, that was so weird. The way that took cornered there for Lawrence de Sosua, it looked like he had full lock for just about a half a second, which pivoted him into a massive turn. Dowling then finds a way through on McClements. That was so bizarre. De Sosua was pushing like he's crazed, and he's gone 2 crazed. He's going to go straight on here, bang, into the wall, he's gone.
Oh, that's not good for him, and that's going to have to be some damage as well, but thankfully it's a tyre barrier there, so it'll launch right across the track, but he's going to be losing a lot of time. Meanwhile, in the front though, well, not the front, this is McClements. He's still battling. It's not been a great lap for him. He now has to try and find his way past Adam Dowling, and meanwhile up ahead, you just see the Mr. Sparkle there. That is Sean McGoldrick getting past Sean McDonald, hopefully.
Well, he's trying, but look at this. McDonald finds a bit more bottle as he now tries to hold around the outside. He gets blocked past, and a freebie 1 goes for Rory O'Shea, who looks for a freebie 2nd as he pinches down McGoldrick to the inside, and he's going to try and set him up on the exit here, heading to the champion's corner, but that's not going to happen at champion's turn. He's going to have to wait a little longer.
Wait a little longer, but also can they work together? Because Kelly and McCann are 3 seconds ahead of them right now. Can they just try and use this their advantage that they're both together? They now are clear of the traffic. Because right now, if McCann can just hold up Jordan Kelly, McGoldrick and O'Shea may have a chance, but that's going to be tough. Peter McCann's good enough driver, but Jordan Kelly tonight has been on fire.
Jordan Kelly has, but knows that that gap will increase with the way it all stacks at the moment. Even if he wins, he's hoping that Rory O'Shea gets about an 8th place finish, and that doesn't look likely at this point in time. He can only do what he can, which is get to the front, and there's not much you can do if you're Peter McCann, because you can't save this place. You have to lose out here in through the sweeper. You might be able to attack back Coca-Cola. No dice there. Jordan Kelly is at home in position 1 again.
And I think everyone's a little bit scared now. They see that Kelly's made up 6 positions in the space of 3 and a bit laps. And now he can just start to pull away. He has the lines. He has the ability. You can start to see how much he opens the corners up. He knows the positions and places that people can put the cars, because he's put the cars there so far tonight. He's the man with a game plan for every corner right now.
He is. He's got a plan for everything. He's got a plan for what makes this tick. And he is making every single corner tick off in his box. And he will now be micromanaging every single corner of this circuit, because he knows he wants nothing like race 1.
No, he knows now that he has to do. It's head down, no mistakes. You know, with the way he sounded in that interview, he is kicking himself. He does not want to make that mistake. The back of the field, though, we've got Chan Wing Fei. He is still battling. Tony Stack as well with Lawrence Sotoa. They are trying to have a little battle. In fact, the Soto was a lap down. They are trying to have a little battle here. Maybe some positions, because at the back of the field, points still mean prizes for some of these drivers.
Yeah, they're going to want to score these results, and there is the forefather predecessor livery there of Chan Wing Fei. Initial Drift, the series that brought that car to life, and why you have to pay a little bit more for a Truno AE86 these days in import, because it has what is known colloquially when you're trying to buy that car, Craig, as a tofu tax.
Yeah, and also, do you know that you've also got to have a lot of investigation work and sheets of damage and anything like that on these cars when you import them from Japan? Very interesting, that whole area here. But these haven't been imported straight away. These are the real deal from America. And you start to see, look at the bumping. That's what I was talking about when they go up these hills. That front right is really not happy.
It isn't. The Sosa was trying to not instigate too much, but here's the really awkward bit. Lawrence de Sosa was in his own battle.
Yes, he has to keep fighting as well. He has got Ian May right behind him. So we got a battle in a battle in a battle. This is Oran Inception out here at the moment.
Look, you've got a lap down battle with a lead lap battle. Both hold precedent, but they can't hold each other up. So Lawrence de Sosa, if he doesn't want to get overtaken, it is overtake or be overtaken at this point. No ifs, no buts, no ands, no maybes.
Yeah, and just see if any of them's going to try and make a move here. It's Tony Stack that really controls the whole pack here at the moment. It's soon going to be Chan Wing Fei. He looks to go for that. He will not at this moment, but goes onto the grass. Does Tony Stack? He's going to have to go wide. He's going to lose position. What else is he going to lose?
Not yet the position, though, because he's got the inside for the next 4 corners. Chan Wing Fei tries to get greedy and go aggressive. And De Sosa was going to try and unlap himself around the outside, and he leaves himself no room, and Ian May's going to pick that one up. Look at that. Brilliant stuff. And now Ian May realises, oh, I've got to now make the moves through. I've got to smash my head against the brick wall to try and make the passes. And De Sosa comes back up over the hill.
Brilliant, had the momentum, the space was there, and Ian May was aware of it, and he just gave what he could. He has to just yield to that position, and all of a sudden these two are straight battling again, with the rest of those guys still battling. That car behind is a lap ahead of them. It's Sean Hegarty.
That is all happening, but Peter McCann now has to look behind, because Sean McGoldrick has caught him, and now it's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And how much is Peter McCann going to play a game here with these drivers? McGoldrick, who has been consistent, has a chance of really hauling back some points against Jordan Kelly. You've got someone there like Rory O'Shea, who is in full damage limitation mode to both drivers in front. He's going to want to try and get through on Mr. Sparkle as soon as possible. He's tired of seeing pretty in pink like it's Barbie. He wants to cause some explosions like it's Oppenheimer.
He's looking himself. He is trying to find these moves, but he has to just stay patient. 11 minutes left. We're not even halfway through this feature, and it has been action-packed already. Can Rory O'Shea just find that moment? Even a top 3 would be good enough for him right now, because those 2 victories are very handy. If he gets a top 3, he's basically net where he expected to be.
But he's really pushing, and he might be getting some off-track penalties if he's not careful for cutting the course. They are having to be super-duper uber aggressive, and lest we forget right now that the incident point limit does come into play most likely in these 20-minute races. They get 15 incident points in the back pocket before penalty, and now here comes the search. McCann, heavy on the braking, slides it into the opening corner, just about covers it off.
Just about covers it off. Remember, this is the old off-track system. Dylan McClements goes off, though, very wide, and that's going to be interesting. There's also 3 wide on the front stretch there, as everybody's trying to get by. Chan Wing-Fei gets by Tony Stack. De Souza thought he could try and unlap himself.
He thought he could. Dylan McClements just found himself the wrong side of the sweeper, but now look at this. Chan Wing-Fei is through. GSRC replay then on screen. This is Jordan Kelly, and in the grass again, has a big moment, just about saves it, but that brings the group back to about 1.5 seconds over the line, and all of a sudden, it's again the same mantra from Jordan Kelly. He's pushing too hard, he's got all the pace in the world.
Just smooth is fast. Smooth is fast. Granted, the track has cooled down now. It's 38 Celsius instead of the 41 they started. But smooth is fast, and that's all you need to do. And you notice, Jake, it's the same area where he had the mistake that cost him the win in the first race.
Doesn't want history to repeat itself. Having that happen again would be not learning. Oh, it was close there from Rory O'Shea, very nearly tiptoeing into the back of that group, and it could have been disaster. But Goldrick having a little search around the outside, but such is the profile of these corners, it's so difficult to hold anything around the outside. Drivers just aren't going to go for it because they'll just leave themselves vulnerable.
Yeah, we've seen that already in the second race. Some drivers were trying to make that move, and it just was not pulling off for them. Now, you can go to the inside with no problem, force somebody to make that. But unfortunately, if you try to force, it's going to be an issue. So now, with these undulating curvature of the world and the ground, McGoldrick trying to find a way past Peter McCann. He's not going to do it. He goes wide. Keep eyes on these off tracks.
Keep eyes on it there. McGoldrick pushing a little bit too much. Rory O'Shea has no commitment to the Recaro corner to make a move. He'd rather attack off of the exit here and make that happen, but he's hoping that the double toe is going to help down the hill. You're pretty much hoping, and you're ducking in your own seat, trying to make sure that you're sending more central gravity to go slightly faster. It's not happening right now through the opening section of the track and hoping to make that move go, but it's again not quite what is required. Peter McCann is doing God's work.
Peter McCann at the moment is the cork in the bottle if you're McGoldrick and O'Shea, because they've lost almost half a second to Kelly last time by. Now with 8 minutes to go, they have to start thinking, I think this is just a battle for P2 and P3. There's an inside move there from McGoldrick. Is he going to get this off? This could be very tight. He loses momentum. O'Shea has to hold up.
Oh, but that's done just enough there. That opens the door up for the Foster's dip. That was so clever by Sean McGoldrick. Side by side, he's on the wrong side of Momo, though, to get it done. And now he realises, quick, dug back into line. That's not going to work. And he just about saves his face as he goes through that section. He so nearly forced McCann wide through that section, giving him the small mistake by the unorthodox place to attack. He now has a chance here heading to turn 1.
And this is what he needs, and in some respects, this is what O'Shea needs. He needs to get away from this double toe. Can McGoldrick make this move on this time by? They start lap 11. Can he try to look for it? He doesn't. The inside's covered. He has to go for late braking. He can't make it. He's not able to get this move. Is there a little bit of confidence issues there? He's not going for the sweeper. He's going straight at Coca-Cola curve, but there's no line for him to do the late braking.
So last lap, 1:16.9 from McCann, 16.7 McGoldrick, 16.8 Rory O'Shea. John McDonald, 1:15.1.
That was one of the fastest laps as well, so just keep your eyes on McDonald because he is catching up to them. What a story that would be for the man who last season was in a B series classification. Now he's fighting with the big dogs, and I'll tell you what, even though he has started first and lost all those positions, he is fighting well with the dogs.
He is fighting well, and look at the mistake there from McCann. He grabbed too much grass and hit the traction control, which completely tempers his run through the dogleg. McGoldrick opens up the door at the inside of Recaro, and round the inside, he gets it done. McCann's not giving this one up. He's trying to maximise his work on the exit here, and it's defensive immediately from McGoldrick over to the inside. They'll lean on each other with some side drafting, trying to get this to happen, and now Rory O'Shea, pick your poison, left or right, red pill, blue pill, red pill, blue pill. They go in towards the sweeper, they go in towards the Coca-Cola curve, drifting it all the way through and into the gravel. McCann, exit stage right.
Exit stage right, but great heads-up display there from McGoldrick. He must have just seen it in his side mirror that there was a car going off, and he just had to do a split second more slowing down, and he's been able to just avoid it. So is O'Shea, but all of a sudden, their troubles are not over yet. John McDonald has been watching this. He gained another 2/10 last lap. He is slowly catching up to them.
He is slowly gaining, but now that the cork in the bottle is gone, you sense now that Sean McGoldrick and Rory O'Shea can find a more regular pace.
Well, we're going to see some more pace, though, because these are drivers also having their battle. Sean Hegarty is still having his little drive around. Ian May there in the move, and that was Tony Stack getting that position, and Tony Stack is having a bad day there. What else is going to happen in this race, Jake? Because there's action aplenty right now.
There is, as Tony Stack's just lost the position then, and there is your leader, Jordan Kelly, who realises he's done everything he can, 7.3 to the good. If it stays like this, he gets a victory. It's a good victory at that as well, but the issue he's going to run into is the 6 rounds of the championship he didn't start. Always going to be tough to get in the title picture when you miss the first 6. So that's drop rounds, 0 points in one of your rounds, and still trying to have the pace to bring that back. It's Herculean at best, but at the moment, he is staring down Rory O'Shea, who's only just being consistent enough. And the ultimate limitation is to put Sean McGoldrick a couple more points behind if he can find the pass on Mr. Sparkle.
A couple more points behind could be the nail in the hammer for McGoldrick. So this could also be almost a championship eliminator right now for McGoldrick if he does not hold on to this. Sometimes they call it moving day when you get to a stage like this in the championship, and this is definitely paid off right now, because all of a sudden we thought it would be between O'Shea and Kelly, a very tight gap. Those 2 victories already for O'Shea could be crucial. What else could he get, though?
This is a Brian Harmon style performance for those who watch the Open Championship. It's the way that Rory O'Shea is driving. It's almost like he's got a 5-stroke lead at this point. The way he's going about his business, thinking about a move, then through at 1 into 2, and it's not going to happen again at the Coca-Cola curve. He needs a couple of Mentos or something to pop in at Coca-Cola to really get the explosion going.
Well, we all know Mentos are not allowed in Australia after what the English did to them in 2005, but he may have just smuggled some because he needs all the power he can get right now. A nice, smooth, wide line. Look at the different lines they're taking now. You can see who's being the aggressor right now. It's McGoldrick being smooth. It's O'Shea being a bit more erratic. He is trying to find the way through.
Oh, and you can definitely sense over the bumps that you are never truly on the flat around this circuit. You are waiting for this track to just fire another way as it battles the car up over the crest, back down the hill, and then immediately up as you get that roller coaster sensation into Recaro. Really open up the corner, look down at your OMP wheel, through the middle of it, at your dash, try and keep the steering wheel as straight as possible down the hill on this straight, heading towards the opening section of track, turns 1 and 2. Hit the brakes, pivot through the left, and then really ratchet it on the brakes. O'Shea's trying everything, scare tactics now.
I think that's also just a moment he was not expecting so much extra speed, and that's unfortunately not helped him out here because he's lost a little bit of time. Still on the back of McGoldrick, though. I'll tell you what, you talk about the racing here, you talk about the ups and downs. I wouldn't want to be in a motion rig right now. If you try to do racing right now and battling, it's going to be insane. And look at that gap, though, with everybody battling all of a sudden. Kelly, 8 seconds ahead. Goodbye.
Goodbye and good night, it seems, as he now pushes. How much do you want to push Sean McGoldrick? He is really on a level right now where he's having to look around at everything he's got, and we are heading to that final lap of the race. We're just about going to tick over with Jordan Kelly crossing the line, which means that we are going to be in that position where we now look around and say, have you got anything left, Rory O'Shea? And I think he's got the best run he's had all night long to make this happen. Hard to the inside goes Sean McGoldrick. Does Rory O'Shea try and go through? Look how much of a track general Sean McGoldrick is. He's in complete control of where Rory O'Shea goes. O'Shea's so passive with the way he's trying to make this overtake through 1 and 2. He's now got to be aggressive at turn 3. Make a lunge somewhere. Make something happen, because he's not finding what he wants, and it really does show at this point. Heading to the Champions Curve, and it might be O'Shea's as he eyes up Norway 1 week from today, and Rudskogen to end the season. Jordan Kelly is already heading through the most troublesome corner of his season, the Momo corner. He deals with it okay, and now finds himself diving through. Issues with Gary Corcoran on the final lap will lose one to Sean Hegarty. Through the final corner for Jordan Kelly. This will be consolation for him. A victory that says championship still on, but he needs some help at Rudskogen as he wins here at Oran Park. McGoldrick will take some points away from Rory O'Shea, but he will know that he has still got an outside chance, just like Jordan Kelly does here. Adam Dowling gets close to Peter McCann. His title win is dropped, all but vanishing before his eyes.
Yeah, Alan Dowling as well managed to lose that position to McCann. 2 laps to go. Hegarty will come across the line shortly. He will take P9. Gary Corcoran got a tap from Lawrence de Sosa. He was still having his battle with Ian May, and I believe that's what cost him a couple positions. De Sosa will come across the line. Corcoran will be the second to last car on the lead lap, and it's going to be 11 cars on that lead lap.
11 cars on that lead lap. Tony Stack will be the last of them. And look at the front. It's looking a little bit worse for wear as he heads over towards the line. That brings everybody through, which means we're going to step aside for just one moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll be back with post-race coverage after this. On the intersection of Stewart Drive and the straight, this is Oran Park, a circuit lost by time in memoriam, but often remembered here on iRacing. Jordan Kelly will get his victory in 20 minutes and 6 seconds, but he will gain a few points on Rory O'Shea, who finished in third. Sean McGoldrick, who's second today in this race, will be able to close down a little bit of gap to Rory O'Shea, but not much with Rudskogen on the horizon. John McDonald ends up in fourth, a great result for the Potato Nation, with Peter McCann fifth and Adam Dowling in sixth position, unable to make the pass. Dylan McClements ends up seventh with Chan Wing Fei, an eighth place at the end of all of that, and what had been a very turbulent night for him so far, with Sean Hegarty ninth and Gary Corcoran the the final finisher in 10th position, except for Tony Stack, who finished in 11th position in 55 seconds behind the winner overall. One lap down, did technically finish, but last finishes on the lead lap, Lawrence de Sosa and Ian May, with races that they could very much forget. 12th and 13th, they end up. We do have drivers here ready for conversation, ready to find themselves through, as they find ourselves now at our very, very nice apartment complex. We have to go to the winner, and that, of course, is stood by with Craig King. That is one Mr. Jordan Kelly.
Yeah, Jordan Kelly here. And Jordan, I have to say, and I think you may agree, that looked to be the best launch you've ever had in this car. We know you've had your troubles at the start of the season with the launch of this car, but I think I counted 4, maybe 5 cars you got around on the start of that race.
Yeah, I was by the second corner I was up to third, so that was a good start. But Rory got a good start, but a better start than me. But he got boxed in inside, so I think I was just lucky to just get the outside line and be able to just hold it around there and get a few places.
With how the night has gone, where you've not been able to get the 2 wins early at the start of the night, and you had to rely on better results, were you focused on where Rory and especially Sean was in the early stages of the race, or were you just more focused on trying to get to the front?
Well, I seen that they got held up whenever I got ahead, so I think I was just trying to get to the front as quick as I could without getting held up, because then they would reel you in then. So no, I was lucky just to get past, and Peter didn't put up too much of a fight. He was kind of thinking about his own race, so it was good to be able to get the one now after the shocker of a first race now.
Yeah, and you almost had a moment as well in that race as well, that you almost hit a similar situation there. So we go to the final race of the season. It's Rosogan, and the championship is still there for you. What is your experience with that track? It's a newer track on iRacing, so have you had a lot of time to drive on that track?
Yeah, at the start of when the track first came out, I'd done a lot of races on it, so I'm comfortable enough on it. It should be a good track for a bit of racing too. So that's promising for the stream, I suppose, and it might spice up the championship. I don't know what way it's going to end up now after the drop rounds, but all I know is it's going to be close now coming to next week.
Well, Jordan, as per usual, as you are the winner of the feature race, I always like to say this: the floor is yours for any shout-outs you'd like to give.
Just thanks to everybody that sets everything up and makes this championship run good. We won't say thanks to Rob tonight because I ended up having to set up the server because Rob forgot all about it. So we'll put him dock him down a point for that. So yeah, thanks to everybody that organises everything else behind the scenes, and you guys for putting everything on. So thanks again.
Well, that is Jordan Kelly, the winner of the feature race, Jake. And I believe you now have another person just on the other side of our apartment here.
Yeah, on the other side of our apartment, I do have the driver who finished in 2nd position overall in that final race, which would be Sean McGoldrick coming through. Sean, Mr. Sparkle, looked very nice and very squeaky clean over the racing that was here today, but on the one day where you needed maybe a little bit of help from those around you to pull yourself back into the title picture, it looked like the driver behind you had an all-season day.
Yeah, it was really tough. Rory was very, very fast today. I think there was one of the races where I might have had a few runs on him, but he was blinking a lot, and I just decided that it wasn't worth it. And I've never finished in the top 3 in the championship, so I'd be happy with that.
Well, we're just looking at your car right now going over through the Foster's dip, and there is so much of the car oscillating and wheels coming off of the ground at almost every single corner. It's almost like the car's trying to beg to roll over like it's a newborn puppy. In terms of how you're trying to manage a car around a track like this, where the circuit's literally trying to throw you around every which way you go, is that the sort of circuit that, in terms of a driver's track, that this is one that you really love this week?
Yeah, I really love driving it. It's not so good for racing, but I love driving it the GR86 is like a slow motion V8 supercar.
Well, there's a reason why the Australian GR86 series is a feeder series in for the Australian Supercar Series. But for you, outside championship chance, it comes to Rudskogen a week from today. What's your thoughts about driving around Norway?
Yeah, I quite like it. It's a really smooth track. There's plenty of elevation change. I think the only thing is there are a lot of off tracks around there, so I wouldn't like to see positions being decided by disqualifications, but it might well happen.
Well, that's the first we're going to hear of that. And that for you, Sean McGoldrick, is a second place finish in that final race, making a very, very strong statement that the championship is still very much alive. But alive by how much? Because there is one driver, Craig, as you take a look over from, I believe your position now would be what is now known as Grandstand Park. You've now got yourself with Rory O'Shea.
Yeah, I got Rory O'Shea with me. Fun fact, I just looked at it. Tonight was his third and fourth win of the season. And Rory, that helped you with the championship, but that's going to be a little bit bittersweet getting that P3 in that feature race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd like to win, but considering how the last couple of feature races have gone for me, I think a third is as good as I could have gotten, like especially considering Jordan and Sean over the night were definitely quicker than me.
Yeah, if we look at your last few races in the feature, and unfortunately it was a couple accidents in the last two races that did not get you a lot of points, but consistency's been key for you in the racing, and it just feels to me, and I don't know if you agree, that you've put your car in the right place all season, and you've not looked to be aggressive. You've just kept where you want to be, and that's got you in the position you are right now.
Yeah, well, that's generally how I approach most racing. Really, just kind of, I don't feel the need to be overly aggressive to make risky moves. I kind of, play the percentages really and just pick up points wherever I can really. And I think that's what gets me in good positions in these sort of championships.
So one more race night to go. It's Rudskogen. You look in very good position at the top of the table at this moment, but that's going to be a tricky track to deal with. What are your expectations? Is it a track you have driven? It is still slightly new on the surface. Is it a track you have experience with?
Done a little bit of racing on the officials, but not as much experience as most of the other tracks we've raced this season. But we have a week now to get prepared and do plenty of laps, so hopefully by the time next Tuesday comes around, I'll be well prepared.
Well, before we let you go and do your early preparation for that, the floor's all yours for any shout-outs you'd like to do to close off tonight.
Yeah, as usual, just want to say thanks to my team, Hypre, and all the guys there, and as well just RTA and everyone there for putting on a fantastic championship.
Well, 2 wins tonight for Rory O'Shea. That was Rory O'Shea who finished P3 in the feature, but took home the King's ransom of points tonight.
He took a lot of points. He's given himself a buffer heading to Rudskogen, the season finale, which is 1 week from today. You can join us on 8/8. It is going to be August 8th here, 2023, which will get that all sorted. Join us from not quite 8, but 9 o'clock British summer time to get that done, 4 p.m. Eastern, to see the conclusion of the RTA Virtual Motorsports Championship. Want to give a massive thanks to everybody who has helped get this show done here tonight, from Daniel, from Craig, and from Dougie as well. You can catch all of our stuff over the course of our social media, be it our Facebook, our Instagram, and co. Here are some of the companies that help bring things together, as well as the music from June Lalonde. You can catch her stuff on Bandcamp. If you haven't already, make sure that you check out her music. Her music is awesome. But we are now looking at what makes great sim racing. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already to the YouTube. But we have got so much that's coming up and so much amazing racing on the horizon. Race clean, race hard, and with a championship on the line, with Rory O'Shea in position to now take a first title in his back pocket. we will see you at Rudskogen.
Yeah.